this afterwards. It is just me hosting the conference today, so if you have any questions, feel free to chat them. And like I've said, at the end of the conference, I can turn on your controls so you can test everything out. All right, cool. So we are talking about the BigMarker tour today. So we're going to go through how to use BigMarker, the conference room in the community, and what BigMarker is. I am Joe. I'm one of the community heroes here at BigMarker, and we also have Andy. He's another community hero here at BigMarker. Andy is in charge of support, and I am in charge of more of the marketing, outreach, and things like that here at BigMarker. So if you ever need to get a hold of us, our emails are andy@bigmarker.com or joe@bigmarker.com. And that's an easy way to get a hold of us. You can also email support@bigmarker.com or anything else if you have questions. So basically what BigMarker is we try to make it easier for anyone or any group to host web conferences or webinars. So the idea is your group would get online, your organization, your company, your nonprofit, your team, and you can host webinars and web conferences with each other. So for example, we have a group right here. It's a group of people who care about dogs getting together, and they're hosting a webinar on vaccinations. Or another person here they're hosting a webinar on Latin American startups. It's a conference down in, I think it's in Bolivia, so they're doing it. So it's a group down there doing that. So that's the idea with BigMarker, is it's these groups coming together to host these virtual events. So one of the things that makes BigMarker great is we have a public side to our website for your webinars and groups. So when you go to BigMarker's homepage, you actually see 4 webinars that have been highlighted. You also see some other upcoming conferences or webinars as well. So this allows you, if you're hosting public events, to help drive your audience, get more audience members. These will show up on our front page, and the people who are on our front page might be interested in RSVPing or attending your event. It also allows people to find content as well. On the next page, once you've logged into BigMarker, we've made it easy too, where you end up on your home page. So when you've logged into BigMarker, you end up on your home page. Your home page displays all of the conferences that you can attend, all of the recordings that you can watch, and all of the communities you are part of. So the idea with your home page is it allows you to see everything that you are involved in without having to go to those specific groups. So now let's click on one of these communities and see what's in one of these communities. Let's go to the community organizers. So we're in the community organizers community, and this is the basic outline of the whole community. Let's go through each one quickly individually. So at the complete top of the banner, you see your just main signed in banner: find a conference, host a conference, create a community, search through your communities, go to your home page, access your messages, and see your profile and settings. Underneath that, we have your community's cover photo, which you can see this nice cover photo, logo, and community name, so you can start seeing who is this community and what's it about. All of these can be edited by you as the organizer. Underneath that, we have another menu bar. We have bulletin, calendar, conferences, members, about, and settings. So if you are a community organizer and would like to adjust your community settings, click settings. If you'd like to find out about the community, you click about. If you'd like to see who's in the community, you click members. Conferences that are upcoming, you click conferences. To look at your community calendar, you click calendar. And then if you want to use the bulletin, which is what you normally end up on, is the bulletin. And so the bulletin space is a space for you to actually communicate with your members between these virtual events. So that's the idea of BigMarker, is that we wanted to create a group space so that you can meet face-to-face. You could communicate between these face-to-face meetings. So if you were using another platform, for example, Skype, there's no way for you to communicate with your group back and forth unless you're going to be using email, text message, or other things like that. With on BigMarker, you can keep in contact with your group between these events. So you do it on your bulletin, and you can do so by posting. So you can write in here and then add a file if you would like. And then there's a little button that pops up that says post this to the bulletin. You can also see who else has posted. So these postings, they send out as email. So these are more major type of postings. Everybody in the group would get an email that said, Greg has posted X, Y, and Z on the group board, and then they can come and comment on it. If you'd like to have a more impromptu chat with people, we do have a community chat, which is on the bottom right-hand corner of every community. And this allows you to have a chat with people who are actually live in your community at that time. This does not send out an email, so it allows you to have just kind of an impromptu, not as important chat with people. So if you see that I'm online, you can chat me and say, hey, Joe, I had a question about X, Y, and Z. And that is the community space. It's very easy from the community space. You can send invites if you'd like here. You can also click New Conference. And when you click New Conference, that takes you through the conference creation process. So in the conference creation process, we've made it one single page so you can fill out everything you need to know about the conference in one page. So you can select the community, you can create your conference name. So you can select the name the conference will be called. So if you wanted to call it April's meeting, you can right here. It automatically generates a URL for you, which you can change at any time. It also allows you to tell people what it's about, so you can add the description of the conference. You can go over what the topics will be covering, and you can add a photo to your conference as well. So when you've added a photo, adding a photo means it's 4 times more likely for people to attend, so people see the photo on your conference landing page. They're more likely to attend than without a photo. Then you can select when. So we have the what and the when. Now we have the who. Who is this hosted by? So again, on BigMarker, your group is the actual entity that hosts these web conferences. So you can select the group or community hosting the web conference. And then you can select the presenter of the web conference. So who is the presenter? We'll say this one is me, so I'm Joe. I can add another presenter if I would like. The presenters all need to be part of your community to actually be a presenter, or at least be listed as a presenter. And on the right, we have the conference options, the privacy, whether you want to make it public or private, the format of the room. So there's 2 types of rooms. We are in a webinar room right now, which gives you, as the host or presenter, more privileges than the attendees. If you are in a meeting room, everyone has the same administrative privileges. Then you can do the capacity of the room, so you select 250. You can then do smart spots, which allows you to do showing off. Basically what it does is it creates a false sense of, it's hard to say, like a false sense of need to actually sign up for the conference. So it creates a false sense of demand. So instead of showing 250 seats are left, it'll show 25, and then when those 25 are gone, a new 25 will show up. It's a new feature. Then we have the language, the locations. So we have servers in North America, South America, East Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, and Europe. So when you select the location, you can select the server closest to you and your attendees. So right now, most of the webinars I host, people are in North America that attend them, so I select the North American server. But if you happen to be in Europe, you would select the European server. It just creates a better web conferencing experience for you and your attendees. And then the next button is the upload your recording to YouTube. So on this, you can upload your recording to YouTube. This only uploads if you have recorded the conference. It's not your actual live conference happening. It's just a recording. Then underneath that, you can select to sell tickets or not to your conference. And then at the end, you can schedule your conference to move forward. And you can see the system requirements here. Let's go through the system requirements very quickly. So you need to have an updated browser to enter the conference room. So if you're using an old version of Internet Explorer, you're going to have a pretty awful time in the conference room. You do need to make sure your Flash is up to date. We are Flash-based. You also need to have Java if you decide to share your share your screen. And you need an internet connection of 2+ megabytes per second if you are entering the conference room. So the bare minimum is 2 megabytes per second. Internet speed, that is the bare minimum. That does not include sharing your audio and video. That is just literally to enter the room and watch. So if you're going to be sharing your audio and video or desktop, please make sure you have a fast, consistent internet speed. So once you've created your conference, you end up on your conference landing page. And this is what your conference landing page looks like. You can see this little button, this little area. It says your conference is in progress. This will also tell you other information, so it'll thank you for creating it, tell you to invite people, things like that. This is also where you can edit your conference. Then we have the conference name, the date, the category, the conference description. You even have the conference, what it will be covering right now, right there. We also have the conference image with an enter button that shows up there. That enter button shows up 15 minutes before for attendees and 30 minutes before for hosts. And then a way to invite, who's registered, conference logistics, and then who's hosting this conference. So that is your conference page breakdown. And then we enter the conference room. So inside the conference room, you can host up to 250 people with 12 people sharing their webcam. So right now we have one person sharing the webcam. That would be me. It is cloud-based, so that means it loads right in your web browser. So we're using web browsers right now. I am on Firefox. You could be on Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. That makes it much easier for your attendees. They won't have to download anything. One neat thing about BigMarker is all of the members of your communities can create these events. So typically when you are on a service like AnyMeeting or GoToMeeting, you create a user account, and only that one user account can create video conferences. On BigMarker, all of the people inside of your group can host video conferences or webinars. So if you have 3 or 4 people doing that, all 3 or 4 people can do that, and there's no added cost to doing so. Attendees don't need to be members of your community to join a conference. So you can join a conference without being an attendee, without being a member of the group. So once you've entered the conference, if you are in a meeting, you will be prompted to share your audio and video. This is a loading screen, so when you are actually sharing your audio and video on here, you're not actually sharing it with everybody else. You can click Done, continue to move forward. And then we enter the conference room as is. So it's broken up into 3 sections of the room. We have these 3 little buttons that are the page layout. We have the buttons over here on the side, the options buttons, and then we have your settings. So let's scroll in to your settings so you can kind of look through those. So we have your webcam, your audio, your microphone, the ability to turn them off and on, mute all and raise hand. You don't have a mute all button, but you have a raise hand button. And then you have a little settings button right here if you'd like to extend and have more settings down there. So you can do that and actually increase your settings, and then that allows you to change your webcam or microphone at any given time. So there's your settings. And then we have, on the page layouts, there's 3 page layouts. There's group, focus, media, and then we have our options tab. So if I have the page layout locked right now, so we are actually in the media layout, you would see our presentation. If I click the focus button, you'll see me, and it'll just be a big webcam focus of me. In the group, it would be also all of the published group if we had more than one person sharing the webcam. And then we have the options tabs. The options tabs are chat, so this allows you to chat with the user. So obviously you've been chatting. I can chat here. You can also select the color of the chat you would like to do. So you can even, with this little button right here, select your color. So if you wanted to chat in a different color, you can. You can also send the chat there. And as well, we do have a private chat. So if you do chat with, you can actually chat with somebody privately and send that one person a private message. Private messages are not recorded. You can only message with one person at a time. So that's just something to know. So if you have a co-presenter, it's nice. So if you wanted to message that co-presenter, you could. So the chat, and then we have the people tab. So under the people tab, you can see who's inside of the conference room. So this allows you to get a good reading of who is in the room and who isn't in the room. So if you click people, you can see that there are, let's see, 3 users in the room right now. If you see a star, you can see that that person is an administrator. So I'm an administrator in this conference room. I have the ability to mute anybody, kick anybody out of the room, switch presenters. I have all of the administrative rights. So when you create your conference, you are automatically set as an administrator when you enter. So that's just something to know. And if you create a meeting compared to a webinar, everybody is an administrator. So this would be a meeting setting. You can see everybody's got the stars. And then if you see who has their audio shared, this is has their audio, who has their video, who's actually presenting at that given point in time. And then you can also scroll over people's names to give them control of the room or to kick them out of the room. So that's something to note if you have an unruly guest. The next section we have is the media section, well, the share section, sorry. So the share section allows you to upload a presentation or share your desktop. So when you upload a presentation, you can do a PDF, a PowerPoint, a image, a Microsoft Excel. You can even do Microsoft Word documents. In fact, there's tons of different types of presentations you can upload. We always suggest uploading everything as a PDF. Because of formatting reasons. So when you upload a PowerPoint, what happens is all this information from your PowerPoint is transmitted to our servers and then transmitted all the way down to all of your attendees. And sometimes some of the fonts get tweaked a little bit in that formatting. So if you do a if you do a PDF, you do not have formatting issues with fonts and things of that sort. And then too, we have a little section where you can see your docket of presentations and you can show different ones or delete them. So what I do typically when I host a conference is I like to get into the conference about 30 minutes, between 15 and 30 minutes before, upload all the presentations I'm going to be using, so that means throughout I can turn them off and turn them on. So that's just something to note when you have your presentations there. You can switch between them. Underneath that, we have desktop sharing. So this is a new feature on BigMarker. You can now share your desktop. The only caveats with sharing your desktop is we suggest that you have a very fast internet connection, because your quality does depend on your internet. So again, if it was 2 megabytes minimum to enter the conference room and participate through chat and barely share your audio, you would need at least 5 to share your desktop, is our suggestion. So it's just something to note when you do share your desktop. If you have a slow internet connection, it will not go very well. The other thing as well is desktop sharing is not recorded currently, so your desktop sharing will not be included in the recordings. That is a feature we're adding right now that is actually being built this minute, so that should hopefully be out soon, and then when it is, then your desktops will be will be recorded. So sharing desktop is very easy. You click Share My Desktop, and then that takes you through the process of sharing your desktop. So what will happen is you'll get a little pop-up that asks you to download a Java application. So you can open the download. So if you are on a Microsoft computer, the download will go very seamless and be very nice, and you'll be able to share your desktop within seconds. If you are on a Mac computer, we suggest that you look through our Help Center on how to share your desktop, because we do have a few issues with sharing your desktop on a Mac because of how Apple has decided to treat the type of coding language and engineering language we are using. So sometimes with sharing your desktop on a Mac, it can be difficult to download and open the file. And if you read through that, I'll post it one more time. If you read through this little guide, it will describe how to do it on a Mac. Basically, you have to download it, right? It's a process, but it's not too bad if you are a host and you get used to doing it. And then once you've started sharing, you'll be able to select what screen you're on. So if you have 2 screens going, so if you are like me and use a monitor and a laptop at the same time, you can actually select which screen you're going to be sharing it on. It makes it nice and easy, and then that pops up and you start sharing. So it shares the whole entire screen, so you'll see the whole screen compared to just a snippet of it. And then you'll see this on your screen. So you do not actually see a preview of what you're sharing. That is standard industry-wide. It's also to save bandwidth on your computer so that we aren't actually having to send you all that data too, which will bog everything down. So just note that when you start sharing your screen, your attendees will see it. There is a 1 to 2 second delay on it. So just make sure you go slow through internet sites if you're using that, or presentations. And also note that you won't be able to watch video through it as well. So if you try to share a YouTube video through desktop sharing, it will be a little jerky for your attendees, but it's perfect for showing people how to use YouTube or how to use your website or software you're trying to show off. It's perfect for that. But if you're doing live streaming video or something like that through desktop sharing, it's not going to go over well. And then you can click to stop sharing your desktop. Again, you can share your desktop as many times as you want in a conference. It's not set up so you have to do it just once. Anybody also as well who's the presenter at that time can share their desktop. So if you're trying to go through something with somebody, they can actually share their desktop as well after you're done sharing your desktop. Then we can record the conferences. So when you record your conference, it's very easy. You go to the Record tab. So we click Record. And then it asks if you want to record this. Just a note about recording is it is a start and stop system. So as soon as you start recording, it starts recording and it records the audio, the video, the presentation, and the chat. And then once it is done recording, once you click stop recording, it stops recording. There is no pause button. So as soon as you hit stop recording, it starts processing the recording, and then that recording goes to the conferences page. So it goes right to the conference page, and you can watch it from there. You can embed it on your website, and you can upload it to YouTube, so you can watch it to YouTube. The only thing with YouTube is we do not upload the chat to YouTube, and that is for privacy reasons. It would be kind of weird to show everybody on YouTube what Joe Yeoman said. So that's just something for that, just a note on your YouTube. It does not show the chat. It will show the chat though on your conferences, your actual conference recording here. And then the last two features to show off in the conference room are the two webinar features. So on the two webinar features, we have lock the page layout. So there's a little lock button. Yours is probably grayed out. And then again, we have another set of controls for just the presenters inside the room. And this is your attendee controls. I can flip these on and off so that people can or cannot share their audio inside of the conference room. So right now they are shut off for you. And I will unlock them sometime soon. And then we have just to go over the pricing. So if you wanted to know the pricing of how much BigMarker costs, for public webinars, hosting public webinars, it's 100% free and will always be free. So for you, if you wanted to host public webinars, you are good to go. You can create a free group and start hosting free conferences and free public webinars. If you would like to have a private group or a pro group, it is $20 a month with a free trial, so you can try it out. So if you're meeting privately with your board members or your team, that is $20 a month. But if you're looking to help educate the world and help make the world a better place, it's 100% free. And both of them include roughly the same features except for privacy. But don't take our word for it. So these are some nice comments about BigMarker. So if you wanted to read through those, basically for these three people is that BigMarker was easy and a no-brainer for them. One of the things we try to make is BigMarker as easy as possible to meet with your attendees, and we are constantly moving forward and striving every day to make it even easier. That is our goal. Is not necessarily our goal is to make it as easy as possible for you to get face-to-face with your attendees and for it to be quality and great. If you would like to follow BigMarker, you can see our Help Center, our blog, our YouTube page, which we do post videos like this on YouTube and other BigMarker videos. You can also follow us on Facebook or Twitter. And I am, again, Joe. You can email me at joe@BigMarker. And we have Andy at BigMarker.com that you can email Andy if you have any questions as well. And I'm going to be ending the recording right now, and I am going to turn on the